And when he comes back home, he's suddenly he becomes very unwell, very suddenly. And he actually has a stroke. And within a few days, he declines very greatly. At first, he takes a tiny bit of food, a tiny bit of nourishment. And at one point, he says, no, I'm not taking anything anymore. And he's, because of the stroke, one side of his face is a little bit twisted. And his speech is distorted, but he can still speak. And on that day, he says, no more food, no more medicines. And thereafter, he declines very, very quickly. That same evening, he's in bed, and one of his lamas and close friend, Lama Turga, has a dream, and because of the dream comes to him to see and to help him, and he sees that the end is approaching. So he helps Miyo to put on his robes, he helps him to sit up properly. Miyo at that stage cannot speak anymore, but he can hear and he can comprehend, and he manages to stay erect. And then Lama Turga reads to him something which is one of the most beautiful things. It is a text written by Rinpoché, the fourth Karmapa, which is an invitation to a bodhisattva to go on. It's to rekindle in the bodhisattva's mind the strong wish to come back, to help others, to bring the highest aspiration. And so Lama Turga says this prayer 3 times in Miyo's ear to help him focus his mind towards his goal. And some of you might notice that it's very close to some of the wishes in the Bodhicharyavatara. So this is what Rinpoché wrote. And so Lama Turga says to Miyo, again to be near each and every sentient being, manifesting whatever sort of emanation can train them, doing whatever can benefit them, make them happy and well, eliminate all faults and wrongs, sufferings, miseries and fears. May I personally bring them to liberation and omniscience. May I look after each and every being with no exception, in the same way as I would look after one person. For all beings may be a father, a mother, a spouse, a close relative, or a king, a benevolent king helping them. Like earth, water, fire, wind, and space, may I be the ground that sustains the life of others and myself. In brief, I would do anything and everything to benefit each and every being, and will fulfill all their hopes according to their wish. So Lama Turga repeated this 3 times in Miyo's ear, and it seems that he was smiling. He couldn't speak, but he was smiling, an incredibly happy smile. And he, after that, says he manifested his dissolution into Dharmadhatu. After that, his body remained in this, what we call Tudam, in this erect position for 5 days, which is a great deal of time. And when this was finished, which was on the day of the full moon, by that time he had shrunk to the size of an 8-year-old child. And then the lamas around him prepared for cremation. And an interesting little incident, well not incident, but anecdote happened then. While the preparations were being made, all of a sudden the younger monks, junior monks, saw somebody approaching, a lama approaching. And you have to remember, this is in the middle of nowhere. You don't just sort of approach casually from the next street or the next house. You have to come for a purpose, to come to that really remote place. So they see this unknown person who's approaching. And this lama says, is it possible to pay my respects to the body of the Lama. And the young monks who are quite, they want to be very, very good and not do anything wrong. They think, oh God, that might be a bad thing. Maybe we shouldn't let this man in. And they say, no, it's impossible. So the man says, okay, sorry, that doesn't matter. I can meet him anyway. And he starts to go. And then one of the younger monks goes and tells the senior monk. And the senior monk, who happens to be actually this Lama Tuga, says, come on, now that's a mistake. You go and run after him and invite him to come. So they go, run after him, he comes. And he is given permission to spend the night in the room where Miyo died. So he spends the night there. And when he comes out in the morning, the Lama asked him, did you have any dreams? Was there anything in particular? And he said, yes, I actually saw Miyo. And he gives a description of him. He'd never met him before that. And he says he has a mole on the cheek, and he has his face a little bit distorted as from the stroke. He didn't know that. So he gives some elements of description, and he said that Lama Miyo gave him a message for people. And the message was that if people recited 100 million manis, if they built a stupa, and if there were remnants of his body after cremation, then a new incarnation would come. So this is the message he gives them. In the meantime, there the chronology is not clear. Maybe the cremation was already going on, already happened. Anyway, the cremation went on for 3 days. And at the end of the 3 days of cremation, it was found that the heart, the eyes, and the tongue were not burned. That's after 3 days of intense fire in the cremation chamber. And the top part of the skull cap had remained, and inside it, in 3D, were the letters Om Ma Hum. And some bones, pieces of bones, also had sacred syllables on them. And besides this, there was a great quantity of what we call rinpoché, which is incredibly tiny little white pills that can sometimes manifest like this after cremation. So this was, of course, a very wonderful thing for everybody. But that didn't mean necessarily that there was going to be tulku from the viewpoint of the monastery. Now it seems a paradox to us that we would very much want a tulku. But Dhamma and Akön was a place of contemplation. They never had tulkus. They had fantastic teachers which they chose, and they didn't really feel the need for all the tralala, all the complications of having a tulku. And they thought maybe we don't, that's not necessary. So at that point, this is where Kase Kontro and the Tens Trungpa and Jerome Rinpoché said, come on, you have to have a tulku. There's no way you cannot not look for him. This man is so important. You have to get organized to find him. So, to cut a very long story short, they relented, and they were told, they asked Kase Kontro to look for the tulku, and he said, no, I will not do this myself. I will ask Karmapa, because he can see the 3 times. He's the one to ask. But I promise you I will ask him. So Kase Kontro asked Karmapa. Karmapa said to draw a list. Karmapa gave indications of the part of the country where they would have to look for a dragon year boy and make a list of the ones they found in those areas. So the party went, an official and a monk, and they found in the end 7 names of boys born in the dragon year. And one of the names on the list, the third one on the list, was that of Akong. And the Karmapa immediately, the party went in with the list, and the Karmapa said, it's this one, the third. And it all happened so quickly and so amazingly that they came out a little bit bewildered, thinking, did you really say that? Is it really him? Is it the Tulku? And they didn't know anymore, so they went back in, and Karmapa looked at them, just pointed his finger to the third name, and just pointing a finger made a hole in the paper and said, it is definitely the Tulku. So it was certain that he was the Tulku. And then from then on, the story, quite a bit of the story is known, and from which unfortunately I'm running out of time terribly. So they went eventually. When the party was sure, and they went to find the child that had been destroyed. Oh yeah, when Karmapa showed the third name, he also gave them very detailed instructions at that stage. He gave the name of the parents, the father, the mother, described the area, described the house, and even mentioned that there'd be a red dog next to the entrance door. So he gave all the details, and then the search party went, found the child. Rinpoché himself told us that he was 3 at the time when he was found, and he was taken to the monastery. He was recognized, he was enthroned, and then he was allowed to go back home for 3 years, until at 6 he had to go to the monastery to take office. And there is, I find it extremely moving what he says. I'll just read the last sentence. When I was 3 years old, I was recognized or chosen, and I had to go to the monastery in order to be enthroned. Then I went back home for 3 years, and when I was 6, I went back to the monastery for my education. So, from the age of 6, listen to that, I was like an orphan, because I grew up in a monastery. So that gives us an idea. It all looks very nice, Tulku, etc., but what does it mean? You're a child, you have a loving family, you're happy there. Your duties go, you have to come back, you've made commitments, and you want to help all beings, so you go and help all beings, and you become an orphan. And it also, in a way, shows us how Rinpoché could be so sensitive to orphans. They were so important, they are so important in Rinpoche's work. He knows what it is to be an orphan. Okay, I'm sorry, there's millions of things to say. I've not handled this very well, it's just notes, but I wanted to share with you that I think it's such a source of inspiration for us. And last thing I say, got 1 minute. Last thing I say is that Miyo had an encounter face-to-face with Guru Rinpoché, in which Guru Rinpoché described that the world would get much worse and worse and worse, because the moral values would not be applied anymore. Evil would prevail, bad things would prevail, and that because of that everything would degrade and degenerate. The food would have no more substance, no more value, etc. But he said also at that time, instead of despairing, this is the time when you have to hang on and to really do your best in whatever area you're in. You do your best and you uphold that. And he said the value of that is just immeasurable, because this is when it is important to hold on. And I would add to that in conclusion, because sometimes we might feel, we can do so little in the face of where the world is at and how things are going down the drain. What can we do? And so we have this encouragement from Rinpoché. And I would add the encouragement from the Karmapa, who said, no matter how little it is, what you can do so tiny in your own little micro level, do it, because that percolates from where you're at. Because of interdependence, we're all linked, and somehow even a tiny thing like this goes through a network of stuff, so that in the end it spreads everywhere, and never give up, just do even the tiny thing and do it well and happily. So this is my wish for us all, and forgive me if it was a bit messy and improvised. I had no other choice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Che